The Pennsylvania Railroad and New York Central Railway merged to form Penn Central. At the time, it was the largest corporate merger of any kind. Madison Square Garden opens in New York City, New York, and the gold standard. Congress of the United States repeals the requirement for the gold reserve to back the U.S. currency. The year is 1968, and this was Mercury's luxury pony car offering, the Mercury Cougar RX-7. But before getting into all of it, I'm your host, Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that recollects cars of yesteryear, history, specs, design, and a lot of times it's like seeing these cars for the very first time. We post between 4 and 5 episodes each week, with engine episodes generally on Wednesdays. And I know it hasn't been Wednesdays the last few weeks. I've been busy, but it's generally Wednesdays. If you're new to the channel, this is our 565th episode. Mini documentary format. I know it's absolutely crazy, right? Anyway, if you dig automotive history, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. 1968 Mercury model lineup. These aren't in any particular order. Comet, Cyclone, Montego, Monterey, Montclair, Park Lane, Brome, Marquis, Cougar. Mercury also offered 6-passenger wagons in Commuter, Colony Park, and Montego MX. The Cougar was Mercury's pony car offering, if you can really call it that, because the Cougar is more mature, more grown up, more sophisticated than most of the cars in the pony car segment. I would call the Cougar luxury pony car. That would probably be a better term, in my opinion. Mercury would offer the Cougar from 1967 through 2002. It's important to note that the Cougar would play the field, so to speak. They were offered in different market segments. For example, 1964 through 1973 is considered pony car, but I call it luxurious pony. 1974 through 1999, personal luxury car. It was a mid-size car from 77 through 79. Sports compact from 1981 through 1982, and then from 1999 to 2002. It was all over the place in what category the Cougar was during its life cycle. It's also important to note that from 1967 through 1997, Cougar was rear-wheel drive. From 1999 through 2002, it was front-wheel drive. It was offered in 8 generations. 1968 falls in the first generation, which was produced from 67, 68, 69, 70. It could be had as a 2-door convertible or 2-door hardtop. Could also be had in standard trim, which the Cougar came standard with the padded sun visors, 2-speed electric windshield wipers with wash feature, backup lights, seat belts, dual master hydraulic brakes, 4-way flasher, as well as a few more odds and ends. Or you could get the more upscale XR-7, which came in only hardtop flavor. You also got rocker molding, XR badging, special wheel covers. Interior got an overhead console with map lights, a series of warning lights, leather-trimmed vinyl seats, walnut-toned instrument panel, deep loop carpeting, along with trip odometer and tachometer. The Cougar could also be had in GT and GTE trim. The GTE was a holy grail trim for the Cougar, which gave it a 427 cubic inch displacement, 7-liter V8. And it was to pay homage to NASCAR. It was also Mercury's way of milking the Motor Trend Car of the Year award, which they won 1 year prior. Sources conflict on whether it was a 427 V8 or a 428 V8, but the advertisement pieces say that it was a 427 V8. Production numbers are all over the place. Some sources say they only produced 115 with the 427. Other sources go as high as 394. So somewhere between 115 to 394 were only made. The 1968 Cougar was based on the 1967 refresh of the Mustang, but it wears completely different sheet metal. and is also riding a 3-inch longer wheelbase chassis. 190.3 inches long, 71.3 inches wide. It rides a wheelbase of 111 inches. It weighs 3,135 pounds. Price $3,230, which would be equivalent to you spending $29,265.01 in the year 2024. Total 1968 Mercury production was 360,467 units, of which total Cougar 113,728 units. Of that number, 81,014 were hardtops, and of that number, 32,712 were the XR-7 variety. Moving on to engines, which there were a ton of different engines to choose from. Starting out in the proverbial basement, 302 cubic inch displacement overhead valve V8 5 liters. It was good for anywhere between 210 to 230 horsepower at 4,600 RPM. Up to 295 pound-feet or 400 newton meters at 2400 RPM. With a bore of 4 inches and a stroke of 3 inches, compression is 9-1. Just a heads up, bore and stroke sizes may be rounded. Compression 9-1. When backed with a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be had in 8.4 seconds, with a theoretical top speed of 121 miles per hour while achieving an average 13.9 to maybe 15 miles to the gallon. Moving on to the middle engine option. 390 cubic inch displacement overhead valve V8 6.4 liters. It was good for anywhere between 265, 280, and 325 horsepower at 4,400 RPM. Up to 427 pound-feet or 579 newton meters around 2400 RPM, with a bore of 4.1 inches and a stroke of 3.8 inches. Compression is 9.5-1 with 5 main bearings. With 325 horsepower when backed with a 4-speed manual, 0 to 60 could be had in 5.9 seconds with a theoretical top speed of 131 miles per hour while achieving an average of anywhere between 9 to 11 miles to the gallon. Moving on to the biggest and baddest engine that could be found in the Mercury Cougar, 427 cubic inch displacement overhead valve V8 7 liters. It was good for 390 horsepower at 5,600 RPM, up to 460 pound-feet or 626 newton meters around 3,200 RPM, with a bore of 4.23 inches and a stroke of 3.78 inches. Compression is 10.9-1. Let's talk styling. Just look at this grille. Nice Cougar badge there. Notice you can't see any headlights. It's got a nice Cougar mascot there. Turn signal indicators. Very petite bumper. Notice there isn't any bumperettes and or overriders, just a very clean bumper design. Check out that hood scoop. Single piece windshield with windshield wipers that follow. Mercury script in the front. Capped off with the bright piece. The front fenders are flared. BF Goodrich radial TAs. This car is sitting on P215 60R15s, so they're 15-inch tires. This car has rocker molding.
Cougar badging on the rear quarter. I love how the back mimics the front with the brake lights and the grills. Backup lights. Also notice how this deck lid is completely smooth, no lines. I used to have a 67 Mustang at one point, and opening up this door, it feels just the same. Notice the window is all trimmed out, all framed out. Also notice it's curved. Door panel is nicer than a Mustang door panel. Door lock at the top of the door panel. Door handle to pull the door shut. Armrest. Door handle to get out. This one has map pockets at the bottom, as well as lights so people can see that your door's open when you're on the street. Window crank for the big window, which operates like this, and they'll go all the way down. Vent window, joystick style mirror. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, this pedal here, that activates the windshield washer squirter, which is a really nice feature because you don't have to take your hands off the wheel. High beam switch, hand brake and or emergency brake and or parking brake, clutch, brake, gas pedal. This one has disc brakes, and I assume that they're power brakes as well. This is a footwell vent lever here, which controls this vent. Just take a look at this interior. Just look at all of the different lights in the pedal box, lights underneath the dashboard, lights on the door, lights in the sail panel. Nice quality sounding shut. Here is what over the hood would look like. Here's what first person over the hood would look like.
On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left hand, moving right, amp meter, left turn signal indicator, windshield wipers, 2-speed electric windshield wipers, heat and ventilation controls. The top is for blower speed, heat, temperature, defrost, headlights, 120 mile per hour speedometer with odometer and trip odometer, fuel, 6,000 RPM tachometer, brake warning light if this was a Mustang. Because it's a Cougar and there is a different brake warning light, I wondered what this would be. Right turn signal indicator, coolant temperature, toggle switches for various lights, left map light, which is located just above, panel lights, courtesy lights, right map light. Oil pressure is all the way over by the glove box, radio.
Up above, there are sun visors. Sun visor over here for the driver, sun visor over here for the passenger, cut out for the rear view mirror so you can have both sun visors down and still see who is behind you. Daytime, nighttime feature. This one also has a series of idiot lights up above, as well as lights to see, the dome lights. Seat belts, door jar, parking brake, low fuel. So some stuff to go over, some stuff to note. This has a 5-speed manual transmission. They didn't have a 5-speed manual transmission. Ford didn't, at least not in 67 or 68. So this one has a Tremex 5-speed in it to make it more drivable, more livable in modern day traffic. This would also have a clock in the center. Instead, this has a storage compartment, as well as this whole center console isn't Mercury per se. It's out of a 67, 68 Mustang. The owner liked it so much that he put it in this car, and I can see why. There's tons of storage space, as well as place to put the seat belts, seatbelt receiver. I love old school seat belts. I actually prefer just to have a lap belt on while driving. The back here for rear passenger. On to the glove box test. Here's our test subject. Here's my hand for reference. My hand is 7.5 inches long, just to give you scale of how big this camera is. It's pretty big. Here's the glove box in question. Alright, getting in the back. This one has a seat back lock, so you just move that like that, move it out of the way like that. And that is how much space you have to get back there. Check out the light at the back of the console. That's pretty cool. Alright. This is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander. The greenhouse, or the pillar to glass ratio. It's pretty nice in this car, all things considered, considering that this is a triple black car. Black on black on black. This is what visibility looks like out the back. Check out that parcel shelf. Some aftermarket speakers back there as well. Let's talk about seat back profile. It is rather upright. Bench is rather small, but all things considered, I have negative knee space, but I'm 6'2". I'm a full grown adult. If I had to sit back here, I could in a pinch. This is what I look like sitting in the back of the 68 Cougar. My hair, obviously I got a fro now, but my hair is in the headliner. If I had to do this in a pinch, I totally could, but you could fit kids back here as long as they're not 6'2". Kids are getting taller and taller, it seems. My stepson wouldn't fit back here. He's 6'5". But if you have small kids, this would work. Other creature comforts. There are extra seat belts up here. There is a coat hook. Another coat hook over there. There is an armrest, as well as the windows do go down back here, and they operate like this. Pretty much straight up and straight down. Also, just check out the seat material. It looks like it's flaked. Like, that's how it's supposed to be. It's not like straight vinyl like, say, a Mustang seat. It's got this texturized vinyl up here, and then this ribbed vinyl. They're very comfortable seats. Coming to the under the hood section, hood release is right underneath here. You see that lever? So the hood release is right here. You see how that releases it? It's all one motion. This one has the original style battery, 12-volt system, aluminum radiator, which looks like it's an aftermarket thing, but it's definitely an added touch because I had a 67 Mustang and my Mustang overheated every single radiator I put in until I put an aluminum one in, and that's what did it. Dual horns in the front. It's got the plastic windshield washer reservoir with the Mercury mascot on it. Has a mechanical fuel pump with fuel filter going to it. Pretty cool. Water pump there. One belt, thin belt system, alternator, solenoid right over there next to the battery. This one's got a 390 Ford Venturi distributor in the front with the coil just tucked right over here. It doesn't look like it has power steering, but it has power brakes with a dual master cylinder, power brake booster.
I love the valve covers. It says Mercury. On the positive side, this is one mean, menacing looking machine. Awesome, uninterrupted front end, cool hidden headlamps. Sequential taillights were an option that this car has. Large trunk, long hood, short deck profile. This car aged well, in my opinion. It looks epic among the appliance cars of today. Large range of engine options with a V8 being base engine, which was really cool. Against it, not much. Just know that the bigger engines are thirsty, but they totally make up for it by being a blast to drive. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. 2 scenarios today, and these, because Mercury was a bit of in a weird market segment, like the luxury pony market segment, these may be a bit outside the box, but which one would you prefer? 1967 AMC Marlin or 1968 Mercury Cougar XR-7 or 1966 Buick Riviera? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Okay, moving on to the second scenario. 1968 AMC Javelin or 1968 Mercury Cougar XR7 or 1968 Pontiac Firebird. Once again, gonna leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. All right, now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. Or you can always check out our Facebook group which correlates with this YouTube channel by clicking the link in the description. If you don't have Facebook and would still like to reach me, send me an email at what_it's_like at a lost and mostly forgotten web provider, yahoo.com, if interested. Thank you all so much for everything that you guys bring in the comment section. I really love reading the stories. I love reading all of the added information. There's information that the internet just doesn't know. I'm a pretty good researcher, but if the research is bad, then the information, you get it. Until next time, toodaloo!
Hey, I want to do the toodaloo.
Welcome to the after show. This part doesn't have any commentary or any sound. You can listen to whatever you want in the background if you wish, or just sit in silence. As Depeche Mode would always say, enjoy the silence.